You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
Who says you can't handle the truth? That would be our dear leaders. Oh, they know what's best for us. Folks, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. This world has become obscene. And I mean obscene, absurd. And it is bizarre. It is bizarre world. I'm going to give you one news story. And it is going to ring in your head like a clarion bell. An 18-year-old young man, some might even say an 18-year-old boy, was brutally murdered. He was chased. He was run down in a car and murdered. An 18-year-old kid, folks, who was a street dancer. Who ran him down? A 41-year-old Democrat. Did this happen in New York City? No, it didn't. Did it happen in New Orleans, Los Angeles, Portland? Portland sounds like a great candidate. No, not in Portland, in North Dakota. 41-year-old, radical, violent, off his rocker, socialist, murderous Democrat did just that. You know why? Because this kid, this young man, he was a dancer, a performer. That was his thing. He liked to perform. Does that sound like a dangerous person? Someone who needed to be chased, harassed, run down, and then murdered? Well, that's what happened. Because he was a Republican, folks. This young man, and the pictures of him, he does not look like me. He doesn't look dangerous. He's a kid. But this Democrat was convinced that he was a dangerous member of society, a threat to the country. He was so bad that he needed to be murdered. You, folks, me, we are all being hunted now. The Purge. Remember that movie, The Purge, where there's a political day of hunting? What season is it? Oh, it's Wabbit season. No, it's Republican season. It is. It is Republican season. These people are using Joe Biden's words as an excuse to kill Americans, to kill political opponents. Remember, folks, this is a bell ringing in your head. Your ears should be ringing. Remember when we heard that young people in the Democrat Party believe that political assassination is acceptable? Recall that? Almost a majority of young Democrats believe that you should be able to murder your political opponents and that it's an acceptable action to take. Purge. Political murder. And it's happening. This should be national headlines. And it's not. It is not. Read my lips. This is going to persist and get worse. It is. Think about it. A kid, not even a political activist. It doesn't matter if he was or not, being murdered by a Democrat, run over and murdered. Unbelievable. Joe Biden, 2 weeks ago, was bathed in red light. I'm bathed in red taillights, I guess, for effect. Bathed in red light stood in front of the military to give himself the appearance of, shall we say, a violent authoritarianism, and declared that Americans are the enemy, that Americans are bad, that Americans are evil. But he was pointing to only one specific set of Americans, Republicans. Joe Biden proclaimed us, right, a threat to national security, a threat to the nation. And he even used the word republic, a threat to the republic. And it wasn't a day or a couple later that the mainstream media jumped all over that and joined the president of the United States, Joe Biden. The media called Republicans evil. Evil, folks. We didn't say how Republicans have questionable morals, or Republicans, we don't like their policies. The proclamation was Republicans, all of them, not just make America great. All Republicans are evil, bad. We know where this comes from. It comes from the Democrat leadership and their hatred, their vitriol. It is incredible what these people are up to in their minds, folks. Now understand this. Now we know what they think. Now what we are learning, what they're willing to do. Running down old women and children at Christmas with cars, and then pretending that's not a hate crime, as if hate crime makes murder any worse. Claiming it's justified. And that's what they're doing, folks. They're starting to kill and claim it's justified. And I want you to understand this. I want you to try and cast your mind. And I know your ears are probably ringing. Your blood is probably boiling. Because now it's okay in the minds of Democrats to hate us, right? We're repugnant. We're reviled. Right? What are we? What does Hillary Clinton say we are? Oh, they're deplorable, clinging to our guns and Bibles. Think about animals that are hunted. And this is not a swipe at hunting, which is what humans have done since time immemorial. But do you think the deer knows it's hunted, or the rabbit? Well, it suspects that, something wants to eat it or kill it. Right? Animals are aware that other animals are dangerous, but they can be caught unaware, even knowing they're being hunted. Right? The deer standing at the little creek, putting his little head down, getting a sip of water, cool, refreshing water, and then it's pounced on, right, by a mountain lion. It knows that things are out there getting it, but it can be snuck up on. Understand this, folks. You are prey. You are being hunted now. You know the world is dangerous, just like the deer does. But you may not be aware that you're being stalked, that you are being hunted. Like it or not, believe it or not, these things are happening. People are being victimized by these leftists, and it's going to continue. They even attack themselves, folks. They're worse than hyenas. They're absolutely worse. These are socialists, folks. These are murderous political thugs. Socialists in the last 100 years have killed over 100 million people. An average of over 1 million people a year murdered by their own governments. That's the average. Oh, it comes in explosive numbers when they take power in a country, whether it's the Soviet Union or communist China, both of those communists, or whether it's socialist Germany under the Nazis. They're all socialists and they're all murderers. They hunted their people. They hunted their supposed enemies. And then they even hunted themselves. Folks, we are being hunted. There is going to be a purge. Now understand this. The government sees a difference between us and them. And the government is the Democrats, folks. the authoritarians, the people who believe they have the right because they have been elected or appointed, or because they have a badge and a gun. They think they have a right to do whatever the fuck they want to you. And then they can claim, well, it's my job. It's okay. That person's bad. That kid was a Republican and he was a threat to the country. So let's murder him. This is real, folks. It's not a joke. It's not some other country. But let's look at what another country is doing. I believe it's either Estonia or Lithuania, and I'll make better clarification later. But it is a former Soviet state that is now a NATO member. Guess what's being discussed? Guess what they're going to do if they get their way? Guess what they may have already started? Gun confiscation. Well, by people who are of Russian descent. That's right, folks. They're going to pick on people that they say are their enemy, that they can proclaim are dangerous. And I'm going to go a step further and tell you about Germany now. In Germany, it's been pointed out that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of fake right-wing extremists online posing, right, as reality. In other words, they're creating the appearance of violent, radical right-wingers. The purpose? So the government can malign anyone who has political interests that differ from theirs, the authoritarians in power. Once again, the socialists. They want to create an enemy within by pretending one exists, so then they can do what? Persecute and prosecute those that oppose their political views. This is absolutely filth and disgusting. They aren't even infiltrators and impersonators on the street. They're online impersonators, and that'll be used to take action against the people. It's happening, and it's happening right here in this country. The proposal to disarm us is real. The actions of fake right-wingers pretending to be violent, just like the FBI, always, folks, infiltrating groups and then promoting acts of violence and illegality. That's what these bastards are up to here in America. They would disarm us. They would pretend that we are the enemy when they truly are. And they will act violently towards Americans. And we even have their own footpads, their own people now acting out violently, claiming that we are extremists and that we're dangerous and that we're a threat. All we are is people who want to be free. Look at what the government is doing and promoting. And their propagandists in the media, look what they're supporting and encouraging. You are being hunted politically. You're being hunted and rounded up, being corralled psychologically. You're being put in a box, a barrel. And what happens to fish in a barrel? Well, they can drain the water and you're trapped. They can shoot at fish in a barrel, hard to miss. But you're easy to see, easy to identify. That is the game, folks. These are some sick people. And they are showing themselves to be what they always have been. Liars, murderers, tyrants. They're going to turn the people on people. Partisan conflict, yes. Civil war, it's coming. Revolution, it can happen. This is the America. This is the world that radical tyrants and globalist elitists like the World Economic Forum, this is what they want, and they're getting it. Will you succumb? Will you submit? Will you give in? Will you give up? Or will you be an American? Be a human that is free and believes in the spirit. Your individual rights, our collective rights to be free of government interference and to be able to protect ourselves from those radicals who live amongst us and want to hunt us and kill us. Scary message. Your ears should be ringing. Again, an 18-year-old young man harassed, chased, and then run down and murdered by a Democrat who believed he, an 18-year-old boy, an entertainer, was a threat. A serious threat, a threat that required him to be murdered. Wake up, America. Get prepared.